Hi, welcome to the MaryLee Herrmann Show. Talk to me like I'm 50. So do you have a vision for yourself? Yeah, most of us do, right? We have some kind of a vision, a dream, a hope. Well, the difference between a vision is an image, right? A vision is not about the words. It's about I can visualize myself somewhere, or I can envision this experience. And I promised 2 weeks ago that I was going to do a vision board. I hear so much about them. I hear how helpful they can be, and to helping people reach their goals, their dreams, the things that they envision for themselves. And there really is something about putting an image in front of you. And silly as it may be, I put something in, right by the door, and I'm going to remember to take it with me. I don't have to remember. It's that visual is there to like, oh, I want to return this to the store. And it's like, it's right there. I don't have to remember that I want to do that. Well, the vision board is kind of the same thing, where it's because you have this visual reminder in front of you of where you're heading, or what matters most to you. Then by putting it on a board and having it right near you, where you see it every day, maybe countless times a day, it's a constant reminder of what matters to you and what your goals are. I had stalled for so long, years I've thought about doing a vision board. Last year, I did purchase a piece of foam core at the dollar store, $1, yet never ever followed through. And this is after telling people, oh, I'm going to do a vision board, but there was just so many challenges. As I mentioned before, if you didn't see it, a couple weeks ago I mentioned that, like, well, what if vision boards actually work? Then I need to be accountable. And there's something fearful in that. So it's not simply about, well, I'm not going to bother doing them because they don't work. It was more that, well, what if they do work? What if the things that I want from my life really start coming to me because I'm taking actions, and I'm able to look at what are my priorities, what matters most in my head and my heart, because I place them right here in front of me. Then another challenge I thought was the fact that I don't have magazines anymore, and that's where so many people get their materials from magazines for the boards. I would take some from free libraries anytime I saw a magazine, and just hope that maybe there'd be some images inside that would reflect what I'm looking for, what I want for myself. So that was another reason why I didn't do it. Excuses, the materials. Well, I said I was going to do my vision board within 2 weeks, and I did it. You ready to see? You ready? Ta-da! Yeah, way different than a big piece of foam core, right? Well, let me tell you, this was done along with my friend Michelle. Thank you, Michelle, who said, yes, we should do our vision boards. We should get those done. We should do them together. Well, she's done them more often than I have. And so when I showed up at her house one evening, and I was like, well, I'll bring dinner. And she's like, oh, I've got all these supplies. And I'm like, well, I have my foam core and a couple magazines. Well, she had been going to, she would go to craft stores and see scrapbooking supplies, and that spoke to her, or that kind of represented. And so she had all these, and stickers, and just things that she's craftier than me. I'm not a craft person. And so she has all these fabulous supplies. And she was able to just lay them all out. And then she presented with these canvases. And I thought, well, but that's so small, that's so tiny. I'm not so sure. I thought I was going to be filling, this big old, there goes my white balance, this big old thing with everything and big. But then we started talking about the specifics of a vision board. And especially since I've never done one before, instead of doing one big board that for the rest of my life, this is what I want, how about doing a smaller one that represents what I want for the next few months? At first that didn't appeal to me, I won't lie. But the more I thought about it, I thought, well, that really is a good idea. That makes so much sense, because then for one, it's fewer things I need to find to put on the board. Because really, okay, what is my focus for the next few months? So we started going through all the different materials that we had, mainly stickers and little stamps and such, and some wonderful things. And I'm watching her, oh, this, oh, that. And I was struggling. I was really struggling to find things that represented what I felt are my focus right now, and what my vision is for my next few months. And I know that you can use words. At the same time, I liked when I heard someone explain that the stronger choice for your vision board, instead of putting a word up there, such as abundance, it's like, well, what does abundance mean to you? And so, for instance, I have financial independence. I have money on there. Well, my car, as we know, my sweet Subaru, is no longer mine, and I need a new car. So I put a car on there because that's something that I know in the next few months I want. So it's not just about having money, which is, can be an infinite amount. It's more about the specifics. Well, we eventually did manage to I did find a good number of things, and I started to place them. Again, I criticized myself. I'm looking at hers and it looks so pretty. We actually painted them first, and her idea, not mine. And I'm thinking, just even by painting it, I felt so empowered. I was like, oh my gosh, I see why people like doing this. I see just what a great feeling. So if you're, creative in that regard, as far as with painting and such, it's like, what a release and what a beautiful expression. Because she was so good about, like, I'm just going to paint this, I'm going to do that. And I'm thinking, I'm so meticulous, like, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. And then I just started trying things and expanding on my colors and, dab of this here, dab of that there. And, but at the same time, then, like I said, I kept looking over at hers. Her vision is different from mine, but I kept looking at her vision board and judging and comparing. And I was very fortunate to have such a sweet friend that just was constantly reminding me not to. And when it kind of came down to it, I felt I don't have enough images. I had words from magazines, but I want images. And most of the magazines that we had were home decor or fashion. And yeah, okay, I want that, that gorgeous gown for the red carpet someday, but that's not in the next few months. It's what is my focus, what matters to me right now. And so she said, well, list them. What matters? What is it that your goals are for these next few months, 2 to 3 months? That's a whole different thinking, a whole different thought process than the next 5 years, the next year, the rest of my life. And I was able to actually then narrow it down. And then we went up to her computer and we just printed off, we talked through it, like, okay, well, what is that image? And we would find them on our, I'd look on my phone and then send it to her. She'd find one on her computer, and we'd print it off to the point that then I felt like, okay, I have enough images, and then eventually started gluing them on. I started getting fearful. I'm gluing them on and I'm starting to get fearful. My heart starts beating a little bit faster because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm wanting to make these things real, and what if this doesn't happen? Or, oh my gosh, there's not enough room, or, oh no, I forgot this other thing. And again, my friend to my rescue, Michelle, she's like, says, we can do these again. I mean, you can make another one. The point is that to get one finished and one going, and to get your vision moving instead of just having it all up in your head and even your heart, to really make it real. This is a start. It's a process. And by reminding me of that, I was able to sit back and appreciate. I actually was starting to put more things on it than I really thought I would. I thought I'd have big gaps that would make it more open and pretty to me, but then I just started putting on more things and coming up with more ideas. Excuse me, and I gotta say, I'm so thrilled with it. I'm so appreciative, and that it's something that not only that I created, but that I'm starting to live with intention. As I've said, that's what I really want to be doing, is living with intention. And I feel like by making a vision board, I'm doing just that. Every single day I look at this. Every time I sit down at my desk, I look at this. And another step that I was all proud of it. I'm like, oh, look, it's so beautiful. I made it. Look, that's mine. That's mine. And she said, okay, now what? And I was like, what do you mean? No, let's just bask in the glory of our art, what we created.
And she said, we have to say at least one
actionable step that we are going to take for at least one of the things on our vision board. And I realized that's the power of it. That's the power. It's great that it's there. It's great that I have the visuals. But what those visuals are for is to guide me and allow me to make decisions and to make actionable steps. Now, I did say my actionable step that night, and I haven't taken it yet. However, she touched base with me and said, how's that vision board? How are those things coming along? And I said, you know what, so. And so we're actually going to talk about my actionable steps. She and I are going to get together tomorrow and talk about that. But in the meantime, one of the other things is that I have on here, you can see One Woman Show. And I'm writing my One Woman Show Tickle Monster. And this week there was an event in the Soaring Solo community, and that was called Snacks. And it was basically an open mic, and you could present 5 minutes of your show. Now, that was Wednesday. When I'd heard about the event like a week before, 2 weeks before, I was all excited about it. Like, oh yeah, I'm signing up, and I did. However, when the day came, I became a little antsy. And plus, I didn't feel great. I really didn't. I think the constant changes in air pressure here, the barometric pressures, really gets to me sometimes. However, I had no reason not to show up that evening. And I kid you not, I sat there at my desk and I just stared at my vision board and One Woman Show. And I'm looking around. Is there any reason, anything else I could do that evening? And something else that would perhaps, make an excuse to not have to show up and not have to perform? And there wasn't. I knew, looking at this board, that I needed to show up for myself that night. And that by doing that, I would be honoring myself and my goals. And I showed up. I had a fabulous evening. And when it was all over, and I looked at my board and I said, thank you. Because I know that's the only way that my dreams and my goals are really going to happen for me if I show up. And this is a constant reminder. This is my ticket. This is what reminds me, MaryLee, this is where you want to go. This is your pass to there, to remind yourself, to be empowered that it's like, okay, I don't have to be thinking about all these other things because this is what matters right now. My sweetheart asked me after I brought it home if it's a private thing. And I would say that when it comes to vision boards, that it can't be tucked away. It needs to be somewhere where you are going to see it, where I'm going to see it constantly. However, I did tell him that you absolutely can look at it. However, you can't ask me questions about it. If I choose to talk about something, then I'll do it. But I just felt that for me, I want to nurture this and because this is about me, this is about my visions, and that if I choose to speak about it with somebody else, like I've shared it with you, I wasn't even going to show it to anyone, then that's my choice. Instead of, because sometimes when when you show someone something, and for one, these things don't necessarily mean exactly what you see here, and they're my interpretation, and that's what matters. Whereas if someone else sees them and is commenting on it, then it becomes how they look at it, and perhaps I start to doubt myself, or I start to question, or I think I did my vision board wrong. So it's most important is that for me it's here and that it's present. And you may have noticed she had a fabulous idea. So she has these little bags. I think she got it at the Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something. And we each wrote a note to ourselves. And I don't know what hers says. She doesn't know what mine says. No one will read this. And on the back, on the bag, I wrote open 9/1/21. So in 3 months, I can open that. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because that's personal. But anyway, so I just want to thank you for holding me accountable for finally making my vision board. And if you've thought about doing it, there are so many guides. I actually have a friend who said, oh, I wanted to send you some suggestions on how to do it, some templates that she has, or some framework. And I said, well, go ahead and send it, because this isn't going to be my first. It's a process. I'm on the journey. And here was step 1 of the journey. Well, thanks so much for watching. And if you're enjoying the MaryLee Herrmann Show, I would love if you press the subscribe button and share with any of your friends. Thanks so much, and have a great day.